this, ladies and gentlemen. Write this down. Elvis Bhai is finally happy. He says 5,000 में 50,000 का माल मिल गया. 5 लाख का माल था एल्विस भाई. 50,000 का नहीं, 5 लाख का है. So, right. Steps of giving effective feedback. Steps of giving effective feedback. And guys, for roles that you don't have any background in, feel free to take the help of your friends. Like say, if I'm hiring an accountant, I don't know anything about accounts, I can take the help of my chartered accountant and say, help me in the hiring process. Right? So, just be proactive in getting help. So page number 21, you can write this. Right after steps of hiring the right people, the next thing is steps of giving effective feedback. Now write this down. I'm going to give you the notes first, then I'll explain and demonstrate it. So write down the notes first, everybody. Write down the notes first. Team, can you zoom in a bit? Okay. So these are elements of effective feedback. I'll do a demonstration and then we'll take a lunch break. Okay, write this down. Balanced. So feedback needs to be balanced. And next to balance, write what you are doing well, what you are not doing well, what you need to do differently. Then specific. Feedback should be specific. Page number 21. Write the heading as steps of giving effective feedback and write these elements of effective feedback. Then I'll demonstrate it. Balanced. What are you doing well, what you're not doing well, what you need to do differently. Dhaval, you need to make notes. You don't get notes. You need to make notes. Specific. Action, behaviors, competence. Respectful. Next to respectful, write tone. Tone, care versus complain. Objective, change versus conflict. Medium, conversation versus mail or message. And then frequency. Manager feedback. One-to-one mentoring session once in 30 days. Once you're done writing this, you can type out done, then I'll explain and demonstrate. Guys, make sure you are writing. Don't just take screenshots and be over smart. When you write is when you internalize the learning. When your hand moves is when the learning registers in your mind. I'll read it out for those of you who don't find it clear. Balanced. 3 questions to answer in feedback. What you are doing well. What you are not doing well. What you need to do differently. Then specific. Actions, behaviors, competence. Feedback needs to be specific towards the actions of the person or the behaviors of the person or the competence of the person. Then respectful. Feedback needs to be given in a respectful manner. The tone needs to be of care, not of complaint. The objective needs to be to create a positive change, not to create conflict. The medium needs to be through a conversation, either face-to-face or tele-conversation or video conversation, not through a mail or a message. And the frequency should be at least once in 30 days. Every manager needs to give feedback to their team members at a one-to-one mentoring session. And every manager should receive feedback from the business owner as well through a one-to-one session. Done? Awesome. Okay. So let me demonstrate this. Team, you can bring me back from Mr. India mode. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Now, listen carefully. What I've given you here is the elements of effective feedback. Because how many of you agree? In a lot of workplaces, the meaning people give to feedback is negative. Yes or no? And this is both from the point of view of team members who receive feedback and managers and business owners who give feedback. Like the mental conditioning towards feedback is, oh, feedback means this person's done something wrong. Like I've heard even managers and business owners go like, I need to give him feedback. Baba, that tone only of yours where you go, I need to give him feedback is like, I need to kill him. Right? So firstly, we need to change our meaning of feedback. So everybody write there, I'm going to dictate a statement, write this down. Venting frustration is not feedback. Please write. Venting frustration is not feedback. Venting frustration is not feedback. Venting frustration is not feedback. Now write. Being diplomatic is not feedback. Likho, likho, haath chalao, likho. Some of you are just looking at me. प्यार हो रहा है क्या तुमको? Venting frustration is not feedback. Being diplomatic is not feedback. Being diplomatic is not feedback. Venting. V-E-N-T-I-N-G. You write venting also, it's okay. You understood, that's more than enough. Okay, venting frustration is not feedback. Being diplomatic is not feedback. Okay. Now write. Feedback is a development exercise. Feedback is a development exercise. Feedback is a development exercise, which means what? The purpose of feedback is to improve the capability of the person. That's the purpose. So if the feedback is not improving the capability, then that feedback has failed. So if we want to give feedback to people, we need to follow these steps. Firstly, we need to give people balanced feedback. We need to tell them what they are doing well, what they are not doing well, what they need to do differently, so that they have a direction of what needs to change. We need to give feedback which is specific. So feedback is a development exercise. We need to give feedback which is specific on their actions or on their behaviors or on their competence. And the tone of the feedback needs to be respectful. Which means what? See, a team member will receive feedback from me when they genuinely understand that I care for them. Yes or no? When they genuinely understand and feel that I care for them, they'll be open to feedback. But if I'm removing my frustration, then I'm complaining about them. Like I've seen people give feedback like, God is testing my patience by giving me a team member like you. पता नहीं क्या पाप किया है मैंने कि तुम जैसे लोग मेरे यहाँ काम करते हो. अरे वाह. After removing your frustration, you are giving the same person the work. Who's a bigger idiot in this situation? Huh? After telling the person you are useless, then you are still giving them work. Then who's the idiot? Do you realize? If you are complaining, that's meaningless. If you are creating conflict in feedback, that's meaningless. Your objective is to create positive change. And never give feedback on a message or a mail. How many of you agree people read messages and emails in an exaggerated negative tone? They read it in an exaggerated negative tone, and it only creates more misunderstanding, more conflict. Feedback needs to be a conversation, either a face-to-face or a video meeting conversation or a tele-conversation. So they get the intent of the feedback. After the conversation, if you want to record it officially on a message or a mail, that's fine. This is making sense. But first, it should be a conversation. And lastly, giving feedback 1 month before the appraisal meeting of the team member is not feedback. Then that's a manipulation strategy. It's a cheap negotiation tactic. Yes or no? You don't give feedback 1 month before the appraisal meeting is coming. Feedback has to be given consistently. It has to be given once in 30 days at a one-to-one level. Every person should receive feedback from their reporting manager, and managers should receive feedback from the business owner. And business owner also should take feedback from the team. Does that make sense? Now, can I demonstrate for all of you how to use the competency attributes list of skill, knowledge, self-image, traits, motive to give effective feedback? Would you like to see a demonstration before we take a break? Awesome. Fantastic. So, everybody turn back to page number 19. Turn to page number 19. Okay. You see the competency attributes list on page number 19. Now what I'm going to show you is how for every job role, when you have the role task and you have the competency attributes list, how you can use competency attributes list to give effective feedback. Ready to learn that, everyone? Awesome. So I'll take Divya as an example. So Divya, I'm going to take you as an example for this thing. So say Divya is on my team. She's in sales on my team. And on page number 19, I have the competency attributes list for Divya's role. The list is there on page 19. So I will sit with Divya on a monthly basis and I will review Divya on these attributes, on the skills, knowledge, self-image, traits, motives listed over here. So here's what I will do. So I'll start with, okay, skill. Fluency in English. I'll say, Divya, fluency in English, you are doing well. Now if something, a person is doing well, should we acknowledge them and give them credit for it? So I'll say, you are doing well. Then next, persuasion skill. Now probably this she's not doing well. So I'll say, persuasion skill, Divya, this you are not doing well. Now everyone, if I'm telling Divya persuasion skill she's not doing well, is it my responsibility to give Divya an example of what makes me say she's not doing it well? Is it my responsibility? It is. Because the feedback should be specific, right? So I'll tell her, like for example, Divya, here's what I've noticed. When you're making calls to set up appointments with HR managers of large companies, I've seen you make a call saying, hi, my name is Divya. I'm calling from Dreamcraft Events. We are a corporate event management company for the last 14 years. I would like to come down for a 20-minute meeting just to share with you what is the kind of work we do. May I know when would be a good time for you? And Divya, when you say this, from the other side, when the decision maker says, hi Divya, thank you for reaching out, but right now we don't have any events. So because we don't have any events, there's no point in us meeting right now. We'll get in touch with you when we have any events. You can send us an email. Now, Divya, what I've noticed is in this situation, you just say, oh, okay, no problem, and you keep the phone. You are not persuading that person. So now I have told her a specific instance of why I'm saying persuasion skill she's not doing well. Now, is it my responsibility as her manager or as a business owner to tell her what she needs to do differently? Yes or no? So if I'm telling her what she's not doing well, I also need to tell her what she needs to do. So then I'll tell her. So Divya, here's what I want you to do. Listen carefully to this, everyone. Divya, what I want you to do is, next time when you make a call and you do your introductory pitch on the call saying, hi, my name is Divya, I'm calling from Dreamcraft Events. We are an event management company for the last 14 years. And you say, I'm looking forward to a meeting with you. If that person says, Divya, right now we don't have any events, so there is no point in us doing a meeting. Here's what I want you to respond, Divya. First, I want you to say, oh, no problem at all. I completely understand that. So agree to the client in a happy and high energy. Don't go down going, oh, okay, no problem, and keep the phone. In a happy and high energy, Divya responds saying, oh, no problem at all. I completely understand that. And then Divya, say this, say, hey, can I ask you something? Now, when you ask, can I ask you something, Divya, that person will say yes. Then you say, are you sure? They'll go, yeah, go ahead. Then you say, hey, listen, I completely understand that you don't see a point in meeting us right now because you don't have events. But the truth is, I'm not looking at this as a sales meeting. For me, I'm looking at this as an introductory relationship building meeting. And it's great that you don't have any events coming up right now, because then we can meet without any agenda for me to sell anything to you. I just like to come down, meet you as an introductory relationship building meeting. And after that, if you see there is a synergy in the future, you can reach out to us whenever you have an event. So, would you be open to giving me a 20-minute introductory relationship building meeting? Now watch. Am I teaching Divya what she needs to do differently? Yes or no? Am I saying this will work 100%? May not work 100%. There is no perfectionism. But will this create a progress in Divya's capability and competence of persuasion? And because of that progress, will her chances of getting more appointments also increase? So, as a leader, have I helped her develop her persuasion ability by giving her specific feedback? Probably out of 10 people who say no and she uses this script, 5 may convert into meetings. That's better than not converting into meetings, yes or no? Now, please understand, our job is to develop the competence of our team members in areas where we feel their competence is less. Yes or no? That's our job. Okay? Now watch. I continue giving Divya feedback. I say, rapport building, Divya, you're doing well. Telephone etiquette, you're doing well. Meeting etiquette, you're doing well. Selling, you are good, Divya. Negotiation, you are not good, Divya. So I'm telling her not doing well negotiation. Now I need to tell her, why am I saying it? So I'll say, Divya, here's what I've noticed. Every time you send a proposal email, no, I've noticed the email, the way you write it, is like, dear sir, greetings from my end. Based on our discussion, our operations team has come up with a proposal for your upcoming conference event on so-and-so date at so-and-so venue for 400 participants. I have attached below in the attachment the detailed proposal with the detailed cost of every single item we are going to be putting in the event. The total investment comes up to 25 lakh 22,300 plus GST. Kindly do let me know if this works for you. We would be happy to discuss this and close it on a mutually convenient amount. We would really want to work with you on this project. Kindly do give us an opportunity. I said, Divya, listen, that last paragraph, where you're saying, kindly let us know if it works in your budget. We would be willing to work it out. We don't want to miss this opportunity. In that, you are telling the client that I'm open to further negotiation. You are creating a weak ground for yourself. Even if the client has a budget now, he will pull more out of you and you'll have to reduce your margins. So you're not doing this well. Now, do I need to tell her what she needs to do differently? Yes. So I'll tell her, so Divya, instead, write the mail like this. Greetings from my end. Based on our discussion, we prepared the proposal. Attachment below has all the detailed specifications with the technical details. The total investment comes up to 25 lakhs, 22,000 plus GST. We are looking forward to working with you on this project. Our team is excited and we believe that the ideas we have are something that will make a deep impact on your audience at the event. So once you give us a confirmation, we'll get into a more detailed discussion and add more value-added elements to your event to make sure that your end objective is achieved. That's it. Show your confidence, Divya. If they want to negotiate, let them come and ask. Then we'll go into negotiation. How many of you realize we need to be able to teach our teams? Yes or no? Nilesh says, first we need to hone ourselves. Well, remember Nilesh, yesterday morning I told you that all of you will realize by today afternoon that your team is a reflection of your capabilities. How many of you are realizing that? If you have expertise in an area, you will be able to develop experts. If you're not willing to develop your expertise, you can't build an expert team. Remember this. Business owner has to learn everything, does not have to do everything. The job of a business owner is learning and teaching. Is this making sense? Now, watch this. Say, I continue giving this feedback to Divya on different aspects. So I say, knowledge, Divya, everything is fine. Self-image, Divya, confidence, you are not doing well. Confidence, you are not doing well. Now I need to tell her, why do I say that? So I say, Divya, here's what I've noticed. Sometimes you worked on a project for a very long time. You're very emotionally invested. You send a proposal, you're waiting for a confirmation. The client is taking proposals from 2-3 other vendors as well. And I've noticed when you receive a call from a client and the client says, hey Divya, I'm calling you to let you know that this time we've given this project to somebody else. So we are not going to be going ahead with your company. When the client rejects you, Divya, here's what I've noticed. I've noticed your energy goes down. You go like, oh, okay, no problem. And you keep the phone in disappointment. And then I have also observed, Divya, after you get a rejection, for the next 10 to 12 days, your sales activity reduces because you're emotionally affected by that rejection. The number of outreaches you do, the number of calls or meetings you go for, that reduces because the rejection has emotionally affected you. I'll also tell you another thing I have noticed, Divya. There are times after a rejection, the number of smoke breaks you go for is very, very high. Divya, no, you may not be smoking, but I'm just kind of teaching people. Now watch. Now I've told her what she's not doing well and why I'm telling her this. Now I need to tell her what she needs to do differently. So I need to tell her, Divya, firstly you need to understand this. Sales is a numbers game. Every prospect will not buy. Some will buy, some won't buy. Every prospect will not buy. First you need to understand that. Which means what? Every project you pitch to will not turn into a client, Divya. You need to be open to that. Now, watch, Divya. When a client calls you and gives you the bad news that you've not got the project, instead of going low energy and going, oh, okay, no problem, and keeping the phone, you need to respond with a happy, high energy to the client saying, hey, no problem at all. Firstly, thank you so much for calling me and letting me know. I mean, I really appreciate the gesture that you were kind enough to call me personally and let me know. Really nice of you. So, Divya, create a positive experience for the client. Then from there, Divya, here's what I want you to say to the client. Listen to this, everyone. I want you to tell the client, hey, listen, while we've not got this event, while we've not got this project, I have one request. Can I make my request? The client says, yeah, go ahead. My request is this. I believe even if a deal does not come through, the relationship should not end. So, even though we didn't get this project, can I treat you as a professional friend and reach out to you anytime for anything I may need from you, and you can treat me as a professional friend and reach out to me for anytime, anything you feel you need from me. Is that a fair expectation from my side? Now the client feels so good ki yaar, so well she's taking the rejection. Like, yeah, sure. Fantastic. Thank you so much. So, from now, if I'm coming that side of town, I will definitely drop in. We'll have a cup of coffee together. And if you're coming this side, let's catch up for coffee. And hopefully in the future, we can work together. Now, watch. How many of you realize this is such an empowering way to handle a rejection? Yes or no? I said, so Divya, you keep the relationship alive. Next step for you, Divya. Once you keep the phone, don't go into your depression mode. Don't go into your depression mode. The moment you keep the phone, Divya, in the next 60 seconds, start making new calls to set up new meetings. Let the rejection not affect your confidence. In the next 60 seconds, I want you to pick up the phone. I want you to be that lioness. I want you to be the Sherni, Divya. Make those calls in the next 60 seconds. This is called feedback. This is making sense. Balanced. I'm telling her what she's doing well, not doing well, need to do differently. Specific. I'm telling her which are the actions, which are the behaviors, which are the competence elements that are not working for her, and what she needs to do differently. And my tone is for care. I want her to win. Because I know if she learns and she grows, the results will automatically come. Before I take a break, I'm going to tell you one last thing. You can either be a manager to your team or you can be a mentor to your team. If you're a manager, you will give feedback so that the work is done. If you're a mentor, you will give feedback so that the person improves. When you're a mentor, they trust you. When you're a manager, they run away from you. This is making sense. Give feedback to make people a better version of themselves. Don't just give feedback so that your work is done. Don't just give feedback so that your work is done. Give feedback so that you make them a better version of themselves. Automatically, the work will get done. How many of you agree? So, ladies and gentlemen, is this a useful framework for you to start giving feedback to your team members? Do you understand the intention of feedback now? And are you seeing you're using the same competency attributes list: skill, knowledge, self-image, traits, motives, and giving feedback? Yes or no? So, how many of you think the competency iceberg model is a total game changer for your business? It's a total game changer, right? So, I've given you the steps of hiring the right people. I've given you the steps of giving effective feedback. Next is the steps of doing a salary appraisal scientifically, which I will give you after the lunch break. You deserve your lunch break now. Okay.